Thanks very much, everyone. Let's make a start. It's Tuesday, the 16th of September 2025, 6 p.m. I declare the ordinary council meeting of the City of Canning officially open. We start, of course, by acknowledging the Whadjuk people, the traditional custodians of the land. We also pay our respects to elders, both past and present. Can I ask everyone here to make sure their mobile phones are turned off or at least on silent for the duration of the meeting? And the meeting is being live streamed via the City's YouTube channel. Council meetings are public meetings, and any information you shall provide will be recorded and may be made publicly accessible. The council chambers are not a parliament, and parliamentary privilege does not apply. Elected members and staff therefore risk being held liable if their comments are defamatory or breach any duty of confidentiality. Statements made during council meetings are solely those of the person making them. Nothing expressed at a council meeting can be attributed to the City of Canning unless it is adopted by a resolution of council. Elected members and employees must disclose any financial, proximity or partiality interest they may have in an item on the agenda and declare that interest at the commencement of the meeting or at the latest when the item is about to be discussed. Financial, proximity and impartiality interests are to be disclosed in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government Act 1995. Elected members disclosing a financial or proximity interest must not participate in that part of the briefing relating to their interest and must leave the meeting for the duration of the item. The confirmed minutes of a council meeting are the official record of that council meeting. As required under the Local Government Act, the City publishes a video recording of the meeting. Recordings must not be copied, republished or reproduced without the City's express permission. At item 2, attendances, we do have an apology from Councillor Steve Parkinson, who was unable to be with us this evening. The full council, other than Councillor Parkinson, is present. Approved leave of absence at item 2.2, there are none. Disclosures of interest. CEO, can I address the disclosures with you, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I've received one declaration of financial interest for tonight's meeting. It is from myself, Michael Littleton, in relation to item CC 017 of 25 and CC 018 of 25. It is in relation to the Chief Executive Officer Performance and Salary Review for 24-25 and the Chief Executive Officer Key Performance Indicators for 25-26. The nature of my interest is I am employed as the Chief Executive Officer and I am the subject of these reports. I would also declare that I have had no involvement in the preparation of the reports other than to review the proposed 2025-26 KPIs attached to CC 018 of 25. In relation to item 3.2, declarations of impartiality, I have received none for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, CEO. And in relation to 3.1, your own declaration, for the sake of the record, you will be leaving the room and not participating in those items when they put to the council later on this evening. Thank you. At item 4, announcements by the presiding member without discussion. I do have a number of things I wanted to address. First, I wanted to very much thank and congratulate Councillors Hardeep Singh and also Councillor Parkinson for their service to the community. And Hardeep, Councillor Parkinson's not able to be here, and we pass on our congratulations to him, and we will do so more formally later down the track. Hardeep, as I said to you today, I'm so pleased you had the opportunity to serve on this council. It's been a pleasure having you with us over the last 4 years, and we certainly respect your decision not to renominate for your position. So on behalf of the City of Canning and your colleagues here, I'd like to personally thank you for your contribution over the last 4 years. It's quite an effort, and it's historic to serve on a council. Your name will be etched on the honour board downstairs for perpetuity. So congratulations to you, and please, our best regards to your family. So well done. Thank you. And as far as congratulations go, I also wanted to congratulate Councillor Paul Tuchek and also to mention that he has been returned to council unopposed. Such is his popularity in the Belia ward. Well done to you, councillor, and also for the sake of the record, Linda Ross, a candidate in the election for the ward, which encompasses the suburbs of Parkwood and Canning Vale, which is our Nicholson ward. She's also been returned, she has actually been elected to council unopposed. That will officially occur after the local government elections. But well done to you both. And CEO, I would expect that might have actually saved the City of Canning a little bit of money, has it?
You'd hope so, yeah, cut it by a third.
Cut it by a third. That's a great outcome for the city. Thanks very much for that, Councillor Tuchek. Well done on both counts. I just wanted to address an item that was raised at the AB last week, and that was the fact that this agenda for this meeting and also the duration of last week's meeting, which is a full council meeting, went for 8 minutes. And I think out of those 8 minutes, a big proportion of that was me spinning my wheels on why we were going to have such a short meeting. I just wanted to mention to those at home, for the public record, that the new standardised local government caretaker provisions are now in force. They became effective on the 1st of July 2024, and this election is the first time they have taken effect. The caretaker period began at the close of candidate nominations, which was 4 p.m. on Thursday, the 4th of September, and end on the day after the election has been. During the caretaker period, local governments are prohibited from doing or deciding to do certain prescribed significant acts. Now, I'm going to read a number of them to you, and it'll give those people at home, members of the public, an appreciation of why local governments across Western Australia really have, for all intents, ground to a halt. We certainly have in many respects here, and that was evidenced by our agenda last week, which took 8 minutes for us to get through and was done before it almost started. Those matters that can't be determined by council during that period are the making of any local law, including an amendment or the repealing of a local law, entering into, renewing or terminating the employment contract of the CEO or a senior employee, entering into a major land transaction or a land transaction that is preparatory to entry into a major land transaction, commencing a major trading undertaking, entering into a contract or other agreement or arrangement with consideration over $250,000, or acquiring or disposing of property valued at over $250,000, calling for tenders or tender-exempt procurement with an expected consideration above $250,000, establishing or amending the established agreement of winding up of or withdrawing from a regional local government, forming, amending the charter of winding up or withdrawing from a regional subsidiary, publicly inviting persons to apply to join a panel of pre-qualified suppliers, making prescribed decisions under the Planning and Development Act 2005 and Planning and Development Local Planning Scheme Regulation 2015. As a result of the caretaker provisions, tonight's agenda contains only 6 items and 2 confidential items for consideration. I did have a meeting, just so you know, councillors, had a meeting with the Minister for Local Government, with the CEO just last week, and we did raise this, and the Minister gave us a really good hearing and took on board some of the comments, which were not critical, but just raised some feedback in relation to the difficulties around the caretaker period for local governments, and the fact that with the local government elections occurring every 2 years, the result of that means that we really go into caretaker period every 22 months. And that's really causing some problems for local governments. As councils know, councillors here around the table know, the first part of every year is basically around planning and design for major projects. The tendering and delivering those takes place later in the year, and that is the piece that has really been impacted by the onerous provisions of the caretaker period. So just wanted to raise it for those at home who may not have been understanding why the agenda was so light. Thank you, Councillor. We'll move on to item 5, reports of delegates without discussion. Does any elected member wish to present or table a delegate report? None, thank you. We shall move on then to question time for the public. Responses to previous questions taken on notice, and there are none this evening. Thank you. So I don't propose to either open or formally close public question time. We shall then move on to item 7, which is the confirmation of minutes, and that is for the ordinary council meeting held back on the 19th of August 2025. Councillors, the recommendation is on screen. It also appears on page 3 of tonight's agenda. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Confirmation of minutes. Councillor Shen Sekon is the mover and Councillor Rodriguez the seconder. We shall put the confirmation of minutes to the vote. Thank you, councillors. We're just missing one more, I think, at the moment.
The motion to confirm the August OCM minutes has been carried unanimously with all 9 in favour.
Thank you, councillors. We'll move on to the next item, which is item 8 on the agenda. It's the receiving of petitions, presentations and also deputations. At item 8.1, 8.2 and 8.3, there are none to be tabled tonight. At item 9, applications for leave of absence, none have been received. At item 10, questions by members of which due notice has been given without discussion, there are none. At item 11, items brought forward for the convenience of those in the public gallery, similarly, there are none. Item 12, reports of committee meetings. Just to note that reports from the CEO Performance and Salary Review Committee, which was held on the 1st of September 2025, are listed under the confidential section on page 75 on tonight's agenda, and we dealt with at that point. At item 13, reports from the Directorate of Michael Littleton, the CEO of the City of Canning, there are none. At item 13.2, Mr. Nelson Mauricio, the Director of Corporate and Commercial. The first item is CC 019 of 25. It's a financial report from back in July 2025. The recommendation is on page 6 of the agenda and is on screen. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Deputy Mayor Mark Bain. Thank you, Councillor Bain. Second. Councillor Kunza. Thank you, Councillor Bain.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I support the officer's recommendation and also thank the City for providing further details regarding the number of vacant positions. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kunza.
Nothing to add, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anything further? Any questions? Thank you. We shall move on and put the item to the vote.
Motion CC-01925 has been carried unanimously with all 9 in favour.
Thank you, Governors. The next item on the agenda is CC 020 of 25, the repeal of administrative policies. The item appears on page 46 of the agenda. The recommendation appears on screen here in the council chamber. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Councillor Joanne Page, thank you. A seconder? Councillor Kunza, thank you. Councillor Page.
I support the officer's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kunza.
Nothing to add, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, councillors. We shall put the item to the vote.
Motion CC-020-25 has been carried unanimously with all 9 in favour.
Thank you. Item 13.3 is from the Directorate of Mr. Graham Bride, who's currently on leave. Mr. Donaghy is here in his place, being the Acting Director of Planning and Development. It's PD 007 of 25. The title of that report being Proposed Road Closure, Tinto Road in Welshpool. The officer's recommendation appears on screen. It also appears on page 60 of tonight's agenda. Councillors, a mover and a seconder, please. A mover. Deputy Mayor Mark Bain, thank you, is the mover. A seconder. Councillor Shen Sekon, thank you. Councillor Bain.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I support the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Sekon.
I support the officer's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to ask a question or speak against the item? We shall then put it to the vote. Thank you.
Motion PD 007-25 has been carried unanimously with all 9 in favour.
Thank you. The matter's been carried unanimously. We're moving on to item 13.4, reports from the Director of Mr Warren Bowe, currently on leave, the Director of Infrastructure and Environment. There are none. Item 13.5 from the Directorate of Mr Gary Fisher, the Director of Customer and Community. Similarly, there are no reports from that Directorate. We move on to item 14 on tonight's agenda, and they are motions of which previous notice has been given. We have 3 items in front of us. They are notices of motion put to Council tonight, tabled by Councillor Michelle Hearn. Thank you, Councillor Hearn. They are NOM 004 of 25, titled Safety Concerns Accessing Welshpool Road. NOM 005 of 25, titled Tree and Limb Falls of City Managed Trees and Arborist Performance. And NOM 006 of 25, Illegal Dumping of Rubbish. Councillor Hearn, I'm happy for you to move each of those individually or move them en bloc, and we can vote at one time. Entirely up to you. What would you like to do?
I'm happy to move them as a block. If it depends on if people want to have some discussion and be heard on each individual issue. I have been notified and agreed ahead of time for one amendment to NOM 00625, illegal dumping of rubbish. I've been requested and agreed to add an additional clause, which I believe governance has already been notified of.
Sorry, the requested amendment's been put by who? By Deputy Mayor Bain. Look, that being the case, what we might do is just deal with them. We've got a pretty quick meeting tonight. Let's just deal with them separately and move on.
Yep.
So you'll be putting the motion. I'll just call for a seconder from the floor, and this is for the first item. Thank you. Deputy Mayor Mark Bain will be the seconder. That'll be safety concerns accessing Welshpool Road. Councillor Hearn, I'll get you to introduce your item. Thank you.
I'll try and keep all these brief this evening. I'll take all the motions as read. In summary, access to Welshpool Road from the city and suburbs has become increasingly difficult, both joining and crossing the flow of traffic. As the functionality issues increase, people are increasingly performing risky and hazardous manoeuvres to navigate their way. The city's integrated transport strategy is excellent and potentially the gold standard for future Welshpool Road functionality. Unfortunately, the strategy is neither finalised nor funded. It is at least 10 years until full delivery, possibly longer and possibly never. Today, I'm asking and challenging our city officers to come up with affordable, shorter-term solutions to address some of these functionality and safety issues.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I'm happy to support this notice of motion and its intention to improve vehicle safety at both Hamilton and Wharf Street intersections with Welshpool Road. I can see how the right to turn out of Wharf Street could be problematic, particularly for vehicles looking to turn left, as well as those turning right from Welshpool Road. A traffic management assessment will effectively identify any issues and recommend treatments. So perhaps signals is the solution to the congestion at the Wharf Street and Welshpool Road intersection, but we won't know until all the data is collected and analysed as part of a traffic management assessment. I look forward to hearing what the city finds and reports at the SIB. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Yeah, the request is the CO presents the item to a strategic issues briefing by the 31st of March. Does anyone wish to speak? Yeah, you wanted to ask a question, Councillor Hardeep Singh?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just would like to make a couple of points regarding 1B and 1C, and it will be nice if CEO and his team takes notice. I've been living in Queen's Park for more than 15 years, and I've used Wharf Street and Hamilton Street almost daily. Just my take is the concerns raised by Councillor Hearn are very genuine, and those are the problems the residents are facing. However, installing those lights at Welshpool intersection Wharf Street and Welshpool intersection Hamilton Street will make Hamilton Street and Wharf Street really busy, almost like major roads. So my request to council is when they're doing their assessment, please consider there will be extra services needed on those roads to manage that extra traffic, especially people coming from all the Orong Road side, trying to get onto Albany Highway. These two roads will join them. And it's going to get real busy. It's already busy.
Noted. Yep.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Does anyone wish to speak before the item, before I put it to the vote? Thank you. We'll put the item to the vote. That's the safety concerns accessing Welshpool Road.
Motion NOM 004-25 has been carried unanimously with all 9 in favour.
Thank you. Notice of motion 005 of 25. As I previously mentioned, the title of the NOM is Tree and Limb Falls of City Managed Trees and Arborist Performance. The notice of motion appears on screen, councillors. The recommendation is also on page 71 of the agenda. Councillor Hearn, you'll be the mover and introduce the item. If I can find a seconder. Can I have a seconder for the item? Councillor Secon, thank you. Councillor Hearn.
I'm sure this NOM is a slightly peculiar NOM, but the history behind it is that I felt I seemingly by chance came across some significant tree falls in our city centre on a couple of occasions. And at that point, I became aware that the council is not routinely appraised of tree falls in our city, even when damage is done to property. So I understand there are some regulations around tree management, and if the city abides by the regulations, the city is relieved of legal liability for the damage. But my observation of one of the trees was that in the city centre was that the roots were significantly exposed in the adjacent car park, into which it ultimately collapsed into and onto quite a number of cars. And I was just wondering whether such an outcome is potentially preventable. So beyond the scope of legal liability, I'm interested in scope for managing preventable risk to users of our streets. They can be encumbered with insurance excesses or other damage costs as a result of us simply complying with our regulatory requirements. I'm a little bit interested to find out more about what is happening in terms of tree falls in our city and how we actually even manage the performance of arborists who are assessing that these trees are or are not healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Secon.
I support the intent of Councillor Hearn's motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to ask a question or speak against the matter? Councillor Kunza.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. Through you, I just wanted to ask why, like the insinuation is there's a number of trees in the city that haven't been properly looked at in terms of an arborist or the city's performance, why this has been, I guess, raised in a public manner, but the actual results will be provided in a confidential strategic briefing. Like, why is this not coming back as a council report or something, given the insinuations made in a, I guess, a public forum?
CEO, can I ask you just to comment on that?
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and thank you for the question. Look, essentially, Councillor Kunza, Councillor Hearn identified a range of issues. We thought that it would be best just to run through what those issues are, to prepare them and present them back to council through a strategic issues briefing. It was our intent, it was our hope that we could have done those. We're very happy to share the information. Whether we bring this back as a formal report would be something that we could contemplate at a later date. It's quite operational in nature. Appreciate that we, Councillor Hearn has sought this feedback. We just thought that, presenting it back to a strategic issues briefing was the best way to resolve it.
Thank you. Anything further? I will put the item to the vote. Thank you.
NOM 005-25 has been carried unanimously with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you, councillors. The final notice of motion is 006 of 25, titled Illegal Dumping of Rubbish. The recommendation is on page 73 of the agenda and is also on screen. Councillor Hearn is the mover. May I have a seconder, please, from the floor? Councillor Page would be the seconder. Thank you, Councillor Page. Councillor Hearn.
So illegal dumping of rubbish has got to be one of the #1 bugbears of our community. It's an extreme irritation, particularly when there's repeated dumping in specific locations. It's a problem our ratepayers are expected to fund to resolve and bear impact on the amenity of their local area. but there's some observable patterns from my perspective around some of the dumping, seasonal dumping, particular types of dumping. When I will see like a dozen mattresses dumped on vacant lots around the area in one night, nitrous oxides canisters dumped. To me, I feel that we have a wealth of data available through the rubbish collection GPS system and so on, to be able to harness that together with our extensive CCTV network to actually more aggressively prosecute the perpetrators of this illegal dumping. This is a burden that's been borne by the City of Canning ratepayers, and I think it's time that we actually were a little bit more aggressive in deterring the perpetrators of these actions.
Noted. I just lost my own microphone. Councillor Bain, I understand that you were wishing to put, it's on the screen at the moment, but you would need to put the amendment. So the nom that I actually had was A, B and C. D has something you wish to add. We can do that, Councillor Hearn, as long as yourself and Councillor Page both accept that amendment to the substantive nom.
Accepted by me.
Accepted, thank you. Well, that will then be included. It's only a very minor change. Will be included as the substantive notice of motion. Councillor Page, have you got anything else you'd like to wish to add?
No, I do agree that this is an issue, and I would like to see some more proactive prosecution when we can find these perpetrators, because it does cost the ratepayers a fair amount of money. And so, yeah, I'm in favour of this nomination. Thank you.
Certainly does. Thank you. Anyone wish to ask a question or speak against the item? Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to ask a question first before I speak to the notice of motion. Are the illegal dumping signs I requested and the city had made, are they being used yet?
Nick, Mr Stewart? I've got the affirmative. Yes, they are.
Excellent, thank you. Thanks, Nick. Yes, as I mentioned, I support this notice of motion, and particularly the spotlight being put on illegal dumping in Canning. While the on-demand skip bin service is working well, it does appear that illegal dumping in our suburbs continues to be an issue. Unfortunately, I'm having to regularly report dump rubbish. Quite often the rubbish is on the same shared verges, and as Councillor Hearn mentioned, there does seem to be a pattern. I plan to collaborate with site managers and the Department of Communities to proactively provide skip bins at identified unit complexes would be a very positive step forward in combating illegally dumped rubbish. So too are the same vacant lots the site of regular dumping in the city. We should work with these landowners on more effective ways to stop people from dumping their rubbish on unimproved land. I think there's also value in actively patrolling and removing rubbish from streets where there's been a long history of dumping. With the comprehensive suite of waste services that we offer here at the city, there's no excuse for illegal dumping, but it is still occurring. We need to find out why and what can be done to reduce it. And this norm will help assist this process. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Hearn, no one's spoken against the item. We shall just put it to the vote then, unless anybody wishes to. No, thank you. We'll put it to the vote.
Quick. Motion NOM 006-25 has been carried unanimously with all 9 in favour.
Thank you, Governance. We move on to item 15, which is urgent business. There is none this evening. At item 16, confidential matters. I'd like to thank the member of the public for her attendance tonight and ask that you leave. Thank you and good night, the council chamber, in order for council to consider the confidential matters. We will also be pausing the live stream for a period of time. Councillors, can I have a mover and a seconder that the confidential items be dealt with behind closed doors? Mover would be Councillor Page, seconder would be Councillor Kunza, and we shall put that to the vote. Thank you, Governance.
The motion to go behind closed doors has been carried unanimously with 9 in favour.
Thank you. Just noting we have staff leaving room. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. And we shall have the... Keely, you'll be remaining in the room. Thank you. Just for the recording, we have the CEO and all staff, save Thank you to those of you who may have joined us from home remotely. Thank you. We are back from our confidential deliberations. We were discussing the first item being CC 018 of 25. That item's title was the Chief Executive Officer Key Performance Indicators in fact it wasn't, was CC 017 of 25. Apologies. Chief Executive Officer Performance and Salary Review for 2024 and 2025, noting that the item required an absolute majority of council. The committee's recommendation, which was adopted unanimously, 9 in favour, is that the CEO Performance and Salary Review Committee recommended council adopts the recommendation as contained in paragraph 24 of this report. And as I mentioned, that matter was adopted unanimously, 9 in favour. Council then deliberated on item CC 018 of 25, the title of the report being Chief Executive Officer Key Performance Indicators for 2025-2026. The committee's recommendation to Council was that the CEO Performance and Salary Review Committee recommends Council adopts the recommendation as contained in paragraph 20 of this report. That item similarly was resolved by Council and adopted 9 in favour and none against unanimously. There being no further, we shall move on now to item 17 on the agenda, the final item being closure. Thank you for joining us this evening from home. There being no further business, I now declare the meeting closed at 6:47 p.m. I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance and again congratulate and thank Councillor Hardeep Singh for his service to the community. Good night, everyone.